Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Chrome Soft Golf Ball from Callaway.
Hey there, inside our Golf Channel worldwide headquarters, I'm George Savaricas, and this is your Golf Central update. Well, what a pleasant surprise for our friend and former colleague Gary Koch receiving a well-deserved honor. Found out the news a week ago. He's named the 2023 Payne Stewart Award recipient. Koch, a six-time PGA Tour winner. Crazy thing, it was 50 years ago. He was a member of that 1973 Florida Gators NCAA title team. Had a prolific 33-year broadcasting career with ESPN, and then was part of the NBC Sports Golf Channel family, inducted into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame more than a decade ago, and will be the recipient of the 2023 Payne Stewart Award. Gary joined myself and Whit Watson on Golf Today, talked about how he was surprised to receive the award.
The PGA Tour Productions Group produced a great ruse. They called me and said that we were getting ready to do a 50th anniversary of the Players video. And of course, with me having played in a number of Players Championships and called the 17th hole for some 25 years, they said they wanted to come down and do an interview and talk a little bit about the Players and what I had seen and experienced. We were in the process of doing that. And then all of a sudden, my front door opened, and in walked Tracy Stewart. And it was the surprise of my life. No question about it.
So no inkling whatsoever that this could even potentially be on your radar.
No, George, I never even dreamed about it. You go about your life and you try to live life the proper way. And, I was taught early on by my parents and several others that, you try to treat people the way you'd like to be treated and try to help those less fortunate than you. I feel like I've done that throughout my career as a player and also later as a broadcaster. But to be recognized, and as I said earlier in that interview, to be even thought of in the same vein as Payne Stewart as far as sportsmanship and character and charity is truly amazing, really is.
As a player and a broadcaster, tell me about your interactions with Payne Stewart.
Well, I played with Payne a number of times. He came on the tour a little after I did. One of my fondest memories of playing with him, I actually was paired with him the first two rounds of the year that I won the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. Saw Payne in the locker room on Sunday morning before the final round, and he knew I was playing well. I was right around the lead. And he said, "Hey, play well. Go out there and you've got a chance to win this thing." Well, sure enough, it turned out that way. He would later go on, just 3 years later, in fact, to win the Arnold Palmer Invitational himself. So that was certainly one of my fondest memories of playing with Payne. One of my favorite memories of Payne, back in that time frame in the kind of mid to late 80s, the tour ended in October, and there were opportunities for some of the better players who had had good seasons to go over to Japan and get a guarantee and play in some of their bigger events, usually in the month of November. And it was usually a group of maybe 10 or 12 American players that would go over there. And of course, once over there, we all kind of hung out together and did things together, had dinners together, that type thing. I can remember plainly on the last day before we were getting ready to head back home after having been over there for a couple of weeks, walking down the hall in the hotel, hearing Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA" blaring out of a room. And of course, it was Payne's room. He was ready to go home.
Payne wasn't one to necessarily keep a low profile when he was on the road. When you look at the Payne Stewart Award, Gary, and you see the other recipients that have received this award over the years, prior to yourself being announced, what did it really signify to you?
Well, I think, George, everything that, that the award is supposed to be about. It's about character, it's about sportsmanship, and it's about, giving back, being involved in charity. And, it's one of the things to me that I think is maybe underplayed a little bit. Yes, we always talk about the PGA Tour and what it does for charity and the monies that it leaves in its communities after tournaments are over. But, virtually every single player does something in their own community. at some level. They have some cause that they support. And, it's just a wonderful thing. I look at all of the gentlemen who have won this award prior to me, and I know that they have all been extremely important in their own communities, helping those less fortunate, providing opportunities. And, to be included in such, I've said several times, such an illustrious group of gentlemen is truly an honor.
You touched on it in the video. Where is this money going to go? Tell me about your involvement with the first tee.
Yeah, Whit, I've been the chairman of the board of our first tee here in Tampa for about the last 6 years. Uh, Going back, some probably 10 years ago, our chapter was not doing well. We had some financial issues. We had some leadership issues. We were able to get a new executive director in here in Tampa by the name of Ian Baxter. And once I saw what Ian was capable of doing, it kind of motivated me to see if we couldn't really make this chapter here in Tampa be as good as it possibly could be. With the help of a few people, I started soliciting a group called the Friends of the First Tee. Was very fortunate that both Chris Sullivan and Bob Basham, the original founders of Outback Steakhouse, who live here in Tampa and are big golfers, got on board with me. We quickly established a group of about 25 or 30 supporters. From there, we've moved on to having a board of directors of over 50 people. We have an advisory board of some 42 or 3 people. We have a junior advisory board of another 30 people. So the support level here in Tampa has really gone through the roof. We have a gala every year, dinner that we've been fortunate to have some wonderful guests, from Jay Monahan to Jack Nicklaus to David Faraday to Annika Sorenstam last year, Mike Tirico the year before that. We raise a lot of money. We're helping a lot of kids. So that'll be one of the groups that will receive some of the funding that Southern Company will provide. I have, along with my wife and daughters, a family foundation that we started about 9 years ago. And again, it was through my work with First Tee that we started to see, as the youngsters kind of got through high school, they kind of age out of the program. And I felt like we were losing contact with a lot of them. We were teaching them all the right things, but then they needed more to be able to continue that. So we set up our foundation to provide scholarship funding to kids who had been part of our First Tee program. I'm happy to say, at the present time, we've helped more than, I think it's 22 kids with their financial needs. I get some great letters from parents thanking us for our help. I had a wonderful letter just the other day, Whit, and this is what it's all about. Young man who was in high school here in Tampa, very smart, doing very well in school, but from a lower socioeconomic background. He ended up getting into the University of Florida. We helped him. He did get some money on an academic scholarship, but we helped him as well. He has now graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering, already has a job with business in Sarasota, Florida, and they are paying for him to get his master's. He wrote me a letter and just thanking me and the foundation, and saying that without our help, there was no way he would have been able to accomplish this. But what really hit home was he set out and told me, my goal now is to be successful enough to be able to continue what you and your family have started with helping First Tee kids. So when I hear that, I know we're on the right track there with the foundation.